Hi there and welcome. My name is Tori, and I am so glad you're joining me for this session on how to build your brand story. This session is built specifically for food businesses here on the Tillamook Coast. And whether you are just starting out or you are trying to grow and build momentum, this session is going to help you build the foundation for all of your other marketing activities. When you have a solidly defined brand story, you will be able to stand out better, connect better with your customers, and ultimately build a marketing plan that will help your business grow. I want to start with what a brand is. Now, you might think of branding as just your logo or your packaging, maybe even your website or your colors, but it is so much more than that. Your brand is the feeling people get when they think about your product. It's what people think and say about your business or your product, especially when you're not around, to their friends and family. The brand story is the story behind the brand, behind your business, who you are, what makes your food special, why you do what you do, and how you show up for your customers every day. By the end of today's training, you will have a clear understanding of what a brand story really is, the key parts that make up your own unique brand story specific to you, practical prompts and a simple framework to start writing your story right now, and the confidence to use your brand story as the foundation for marketing your food business. To get the most out of this training, don't forget to download the PDF guide. This session is pre-recorded, so feel free to pause the video if you want to jot down notes or answer the questions in your guide. That guide complements this training with space to write down and brainstorm and work through the steps we're going to cover together. Okay, now that we've got all that bookkeeping out of the way, let's take a moment to really understand what a brand is. A brand is actually the whole experience your customer has with your food business. Everything from the first time they see your product to how it tastes to the story they tell their friends about it. In other words, your brand is the personality and promise behind your food. Think about the last time you bought a food product or ate at a restaurant that really stuck with you. What made it memorable? Was it the story behind the food? Maybe it was made by a local family farm or had a unique recipe passed down. Did you feel like you were supporting a business that shares your values, like sustainability or community? Or maybe the packaging caught your eye, or the quality of the ingredients was clearly top-notch. That feeling, the story, the quality, the look, the values, that all comes together to form a brand. A strong brand story for a food business will include these 6 pieces, each of which we're going to cover in detail in this training. But to give you a little preview, you're going to have a journey statement. This is your origin story, the personal journey and passion that inspired you to start your food business. It's about why you do what you do and what motivates you. Then you'll have your unique position statement. This is what sets your product or business apart from everyone else in the market. It answers the question, why should customers choose you? Whether it's a special ingredient or a unique process or a distinct value you bring, your unique position clearly shows your competitive edge and the benefits your customers get when they pick your brand. Then we'll have a quality statement. This goes beyond your ingredients. We want to talk about the care, the craftsmanship, and the process that make your food or your food business stand out. Then we'll cover customer experience. How do your customers experience the food? What values or passion go into every step? This is what connects your customers emotionally to your product and your business. Then we'll cover presentation. This is the packaging, the label design, the logo, the overall look. It should tell your story visually and make your product irresistible in person or online. And lastly, we'll go over the perceived value of your product or your business. This is how your customers see the worth. Do they view it as premium, artisan, trustworthy, or everyday affordable? This influences everything from price to long-term loyalty. We all know the food market is competitive. Whether you sell at farmers markets or direct to customers or at local stores, in restaurants, or even online. Your customers are flooded with options. But your brand story is what makes your food or your food business stand out. It's how you cut through the noise and speak directly to the people who really want what you offer. Because at the end of the day, people don't just buy food to fill a need. They buy stories, values, and experiences. For example, think of a local seafood business that highlights sustainable fishing practices and their deep respect for the ocean. That story resonates with buyers who care about the environment and want their food to reflect those values. Before we get to working on your specific brand story, there are a couple of pitfalls to watch out for as we're working through today's session. First, we want to avoid being too vague or generic. Just saying, "we make good food," isn't enough. Your story needs to be very specific and authentic to who you are. We want to avoid trying to please everyone. Your brand will not be for everyone, and that's okay. Focus on connecting deeply with your people, your tribe, the ideal customer, the people who really care about your story and what you care about. And we want to avoid neglecting your story after we launch it. Your brand story can evolve as your business grows, so we can revisit it regularly and make sure it still feels true. It's not set in stone. It's a living, breathing story that grows with you. Before we move into the first section, I want to do a little mini exercise, a mini reflection. And I want you to think about your people, your tribe, your ideal audience. Who is your ideal customer? Who are they? What do they care about? Are they foodies who love local, artisanal products? Are they busy families looking for healthy, trustworthy, maybe quick options? Or are they chefs wanting high-quality ingredients with a good story? Understanding who you want to reach will help you shape your brand story and better connect you with them. Hit pause here if you need a moment to think. Your brand story helps you stand out from all the other options in town, on the shelf, or on the menu. Create loyal customers who believe in your story and come back again and again. Command pricing that reflects the true value of your work, and build partnerships and opportunities that match your values. Okay, let's slow down for a minute and focus on the very heart of your brand story. Who you are and why you started your food business. This part of your story is where the emotion lives. It's your personal journey, your passion, and the reason that gets you excited to get up and make your food every day. And guess what? People connect most deeply to this part. When customers hear why you started and who you are, they feel like they know you. It's not just food anymore, it's a story they want to be a part of. Think about your favorite local business or restaurant. Chances are you know a bit about their story. Maybe it's a family recipe, a lifelong dream, or a connection to the community. That story makes them so much more than just a place that sells food. It makes them special to you. Sharing your origin story helps build trust and makes your brand memorable. It's the emotional glue that holds everything else together. So, what should you include in your journey statement? Here are some simple questions to get the gears turning. What inspired you to start? Was there a moment or experience that sparked your passion? Do you have a family tradition or a personal background connected to your product? What challenges or surprises have shaped your journey? And how does the Tillamook Coast or your local community influence your work? You don't need to include all of these or have a dramatic tale to share. Sometimes the simplest stories are the most powerful. Choose the most impactful part of your journey, the best answers to these questions, or the things that you think might resonate with people the most. Once you know what you want to talk about, we should touch on how to share it. We don't want to sound robotic or like a historian. When you share your story, be authentic and honest. Don't worry about sounding perfect. Speak like you're speaking to a friend or like you're talking over coffee. Focus on the emotions and motivations that drive you, the why. And it's okay to share the struggles or the lessons. That's what makes you relatable. That makes it much more interesting for people. So let's do a mini exercise. Let's get personal. Take a moment now, or pause the video if you wish, and answer these prompts in your own words. I started my food business because. What inspired me to do this was. My background or experience that led me here is. What drives me every day is. And my connection to the Tillamook Coast means. Write whatever comes to your mind. Don't worry about making it perfect. This is just you getting your story on paper. Hit pause here to give yourself a moment to sit and think on this. Once you have your heartfelt origin story, you'll find everything else about your brand flows from it really naturally. Your messaging, your marketing, even your product ideas. It's the foundation you'll come back to again and again as your business grows. All right, now that you've connected with your who and your why, the heartfelt story behind your brand, let's focus on something just as important, your unique position statement. This is the part of your brand story that answers a very simple but powerful question. Why should customers choose your food business over any other? In other words, what makes you different? There are a lot of food businesses out there, farmers, restaurants, food trucks, and artisanal makers all competing for attention. Without a clear reason for your customers to choose you, your product risks blending into the crowd. Your unique position statement is your competitive edge, the clear, compelling reason customers should choose you over anyone else. And it gives customers an easy to understand reason to pick your business or your product. Your unique position statement can come from many places. It could be your location. Maybe you're deeply connected to the Tillamook Coast, your land, your sea, your community. How does your brand reflect the Tillamook Coast or community in a way that others don't? It could be your process. Do you use a family recipe or sustainable methods, heirloom crops, or special ingredients or techniques? What do you offer that others don't? It could be your values. What matters most to you? Local sourcing, sustainability, tradition, or innovation. And it could be your customers. What problem are you solving, or what need are you filling for your ideal customers? Who do you serve and why do you care about them? What do your customers love most about your food or your service? Every unique positioning statement is different, and that's the beauty of it. Just jot down whatever comes to mind. Sometimes your unique position is much closer than you think. Before I get to some examples, I want to break down what makes a unique position statement really work. It's clear and simple. It should be really easy to understand in just a sentence, maybe two. It should be authentic to your business and you. It reflects what's truly unique about your product or how you do business. No buzzwords, no marketing fluff. It should be customer focused and show the benefit or value your customers get from choosing you. And it should be very specific, pointing to something real and different, that very special ingredient, that really unique process, or that value that sets you apart. To help you visualize what a unique positioning statement can look like, here are some quick examples that you might be able to relate to. We use traditional smoking methods passed down in our family for generations here on the Tillamook Coast. Or over on the right, our seafood is caught fresh every day using sustainable methods, delivering unmatched flavor right to your plate. On the bottom left, we craft small batch jams with fruit grown on our family farm, offering flavors you won't find anywhere else. And the bottom right, we are the only bakery on the Tillamook Coast using heirloom grains milled locally for every loaf. See how these are clear and authentic and show why the customer should care? Now it's your turn. Take a moment to think about some of these questions. We will get into some specific prompts in a moment, but I want you to reflect to get an idea for what makes you different. What's your personal connection to your product or the Tillamook Coast? What's something about your journey or your product that others wouldn't know just by looking at it? What are the fun facts about the business that you love to share with people? What makes your product different from anything else out there? Why was your business needed in the first place? What values do you want your brand to stand for? What's so important to you, to your employees? What causes do you support and share? Feel free to pause here for a moment to jot down some thoughts, but we'll get a little deeper in just a few slides. Now, some common roadblocks that we might hit at this point of the journey is you might be thinking some of these thoughts. I don't have a unique position. My story is not exciting or dramatic enough, and I'm just not sure how to put this in words. But here's the thing, there is a reason you started this business in the first place, beyond just making money. Owning or running a business is a very hard job. What motivates you to keep going? Customers connect with that honesty and that passion. Sharing why you do what you do, even if it's simple, builds that trust and connection. Okay, it is time to write your unique position statement in your own words. Please take a few minutes now, pause the video if you want, and write 1 or 2 sentences that capture the heart of what makes your business different. To help you get started, there are some simple prompts here to build your unique statement. Try filling in the blanks or jotting down quick notes, or draw on maybe some of the thoughts you had on that reflection slide a few slides ago. But these might help. Unlike other business or product, our customers choose us because we care deeply about because our connection to the coast is. And something you might not know about us is. Remember, this is a first draft. It does not have to be perfect. The goal is just to get your unique position out of your head and onto paper. You can polish it later. Hit pause now if you'd like to work on it. Once you have a clear, unique position statement, it becomes your North Star for all of your other marketing. You can use it on your labels, your website, your social media, and when chatting with customers. It keeps your message focused and makes it easier for people to understand and remember what only you can offer. Now that you've begun shaping your unique position, let's dive into the next essential piece of your brand, the quality and craftsmanship behind your product. When customers pick up your food product or sit down to eat at your restaurant or food truck, they get a chance to experience the care and passion and attention that you've poured into every step of this process. This is what quality means in your brand. It's the story behind how your product is made and why it's special. Quality is the promise you make to your customers that your food meets or exceeds expectations every single time. But quality looks different for every food business. It could include fresh, local, or organic ingredients. Maybe you source your produce from nearby farms, or you pick the ripest berries yourself. That connection to the land means your food tastes better and supports your community. Maybe it's traditional or artisanal production methods. Are you using a family recipe that's been handed down? Do you smoke your salmon the old-fashioned way or hand knead your dough every morning? These methods show craftsmanship and respect for the product. Maybe it's consistency. Quality can be about making sure every batch of your product tastes just as good as the last one. Customers want to trust that when they buy from you, they'll get the same great experience every single time. Or maybe it's your attention to detail. Sometimes it's those little things like how carefully you package your product or how clean and welcoming your food truck is that speaks volumes about quality. When you can clearly communicate the quality and craftsmanship behind your food, you're telling your customers that you don't just sell food. You care deeply about what you do. This builds trust and sets expectations, which means customers can feel good about choosing your product, even if it costs a little more than the mass-produced alternatives. It also helps you attract customers who value what you offer. the people who'll come back again and again and tell their friends. Let's look at a few quick examples to see how quality and craftsmanship come alive for food brands. A farm-to-table restaurant might share how they source all their produce and meats from local farmers and ranchers, selecting only the freshest seasonal ingredients. A bakery could talk about how every loaf is hand-kneaded and baked fresh every day, using recipes passed down in the family, emphasizing care and consistency. A seafood business might explain how they immediately clean and package their catch to preserve freshness and quality. These details help customers see and feel the value behind the product, not just taste it. Now, think about your own food business and product. Ask yourself, do you follow any traditional or unique production methods that take time or skill? How do you ensure your product tastes great and is consistent every single time? Are there sustainable or ethical practices you follow that matter to your customers or your community? What little details do you pay attention to that might go unnoticed but show that you care? Now, when it comes time to communicate your quality in your brand story or marketing materials, here are some tips. We said it before, we're going to say it again. Be specific and descriptive. Instead of just saying high quality, try something like hand-picked, ripe berries, harvested at peak freshness, or slow smoked for 12 hours using our family's recipe. Specifics like this paint a picture and help customers imagine the care behind your food. Next, we want to tell the story behind your business, behind your ingredients or your methods. Explain why you choose certain ingredients or processes. For example, we source our flour from local mills to support nearby farmers and reduce our carbon footprint. Then we want to highlight any certifications or partnerships. If you have organic certification or are part of a sustainable fishing program or partner with local farms, mention that to build credibility. And then show your passion and your pride. Your enthusiasm is contagious. Let your love for your craft shine through your words. Customers will be able to feel that and recognize it. Okay, it is your turn to write your quality statement. Try filling in some of these blanks to describe the quality and craftsmanship behind your product. We can use simple, clear phrases. Again, we don't have to use all of these. Probably best to pick one, maybe two. We source our ingredients from, every batch is blank to ensure blank. We prioritize blank to deliver blank to our guests. Our commitment to blank means you can enjoy. Take a moment with your PDF guide to fill in a few of these and decide which one or two really resonate with you the best and you feel like will be the best fit for your business. Hit pause here so you have a few minutes to work. This quality statement is another key piece of your overall brand story. It is a promise to your customers about what they can expect every time they visit your business. Now that you've explored your unique position and the quality behind your product, it's time to focus on the number one, the customer, their experience. And I don't just mean how friendly your staff is, although that's important too. Your customer experience is the full journey your customers have with your brand, starting from the first moment they hear about you, all the way and through enjoying your product and beyond. It's the feeling they get, the stories they hear, and the values they sense when they engage with your business. Customer experience is the sum of everything your customers see, hear, feel, and remember about your food business. Think about this like a story unfolding over time. When someone discovers your brand, maybe at a farmer's market or through social media or word of mouth, what do they learn about you before they've even met you? When they visit your restaurant, your food truck, or your website, what vibe do they get? How does it make them feel? How do your packaging, your branding, and your customer interactions reinforce your story and your values? And when they taste your food, how does that experience reflect your passion and your care? All of these touch points combine to create a lasting impression, your customer's overall experience. And we need to care about this because in today's market, customers want connection and authenticity. They don't just want to buy food or products. They want to buy from people, especially if it means they are buying into something meaningful from people they really care about. When your brand shares who you are and what you stand for in a way that resonates, customers feel a bond with your business. This connection turns casual buyers into loyal fans who keep coming back because they trust and believe in you and your brand. They share your story with their friends and family, helping your business grow organically. And they are willing to pay more because they see the value beyond just the product. So think about the food brands or restaurants you love. What keeps you coming back? Often it's the feeling of being part of something. So as we talk about all of this, I would like for you to ask yourself a couple questions to get clear on your own customer experience story. Who are the people behind your business? Are you a family team, a group of friends, or are you solo? How do you want your customers to feel when they interact with your brand? Do you want them to feel welcomed, inspired, proud? What stories can you share about your team or your process or your connection to the Tillamook Coast that reflect these values and feelings? And how do you engage with your customers personally? Is it at farmers markets or tastings or just social media chats? When you've started to clarify some of those questions, you can weave your customer experience story into your brand messaging, and there are some ways to do that successfully. We want to be transparent and authentic. We want to share who you are, what you believe in, why you do what you do. Remember, customers appreciate honesty over perfection. Your actions have to match your words. You can't say that you care about the community and then do nothing to support the community that you're in. Congruency is key in branding, so pick values that really do feel true to who you are and how you act almost every day. Then tell stories about your team or your community. Maybe introduce your head chef or share how you work with local fishermen or explain how you source your ingredients. We can highlight personal customer interactions. If you have a welcoming space or regularly engage with customers online, share those experiences to help build trust. Even better if you can share the experience in your customers' words. That's sharing their testimonials and their reviews. Third-party credibility helps a lot. And you can use packaging or your website to tell your story. A note from the founder, photos of your team, or stories printed on labels can make a big difference. Okay, it is your turn. It is time to craft your customer experience. Try filling in some of these sentences to start shaping this part of your story. We are a team of, and we are passionate about. Our mission is to, so that our customers, when you visit us or try our product, we want you to feel. And we are proud to support our community by. I have a few examples to share with you that might help get you a little closer. You could start with, we are a family-run team, passionate about sharing the bounty of the Tillamook Coast. That's the experience we want our customers to have. Our mission is to provide fresh, sustainable seafood so that our customers can enjoy delicious meals that they feel good about. That's how we want our customers to feel. We are proud to support local farmers and fishermen by sourcing all our ingredients from the area. Or when you visit us, we want you to feel welcomed and like part of our community. Feel free to hit pause here to jot down your thoughts or write in your guide. Just write a sentence or two of what you want your customers to experience. Remember, customers won't just buy your food. They are buying into your passion, your mission, and your authenticity. That's the power of customer experience. Now let's talk about something that might feel a little more visual, your brand's presentation. This means how your brand looks to your customers, from your packaging and your labels to your logo, your food truck or restaurant ambiance, or even your website or social media photos. It's much more than just making things look pretty. Presentation is a powerful way to express your brand story and your values, and it sets expectations for the quality and experience you provide. Let's take a moment to really think about the power of presentation. Imagine you're walking down the aisle at a store, scrolling through a website, or passing by a food truck at a festival. What catches your eye? More often than not, it's the way a product or business looks before anything else. That's because good presentation is your first chance to make a great impression. It's like a handshake or a smile. It invites people in, builds curiosity, and sets the tone for everything else that follows. But again, I don't want presentation to just be about looking nice. Presentation should actually communicate your brand story without saying a single word. Through colors or fonts and packaging materials, you are telling customers who you are, what you stand for, and what kind of experience they can expect. For example, if your packaging or your presentation is clean, natural, and uses earthy tones, customers might instantly think that you are an artisanal, sustainable product. If instead you use bright, playful colors and bold fonts, that might tell them that your brand is fun, energetic, and approachable. On the other hand, if you use sleek, minimalist design, that might communicate that you are a modern, sophisticated company with premium quality. Presentation also sets expectations about quality and price, two other pieces of your brand story. If your packaging feels cheap or inconsistent, customers may assume the product is too, and they might not be willing to pay a higher price. But a well-designed package or a thoughtfully branded restaurant space can justify a premium price by conveying care, professionalism, and authenticity. And finally, presentation does help you build recognition and loyalty. When customers see the same colors, logo, and style everywhere, on your packaging, in your restaurant, online, on social media, they start to recognize your brand and remember the experience they had. This familiarity breeds trust and makes them much more likely to come back and recommend you to others. So, in short, presentation is your silent but powerful storyteller. It shapes how people perceive your brand before they even taste your food, and that first impression matters a lot more than you might think. So let's talk about what exactly goes into your presentation. Presentation is made up of several important parts that come together to create the look and feel of your brand, no matter what type of food business you have. First, packaging and containers. For packaged products, this is your box, your bag, or your jar. For a restaurant or a food truck, you might want to think about your takeout containers, your cups, your bags, or even how your food is plated or served. Branded or thoughtfully chosen packaging can make a big impression. You also want to think about your menus and your printed materials. Your menu design, your table tents, your flyers or brochures, they all communicate your brand visually and help tell your story. The fonts, colors, photos, and wording set the mood before customers even order. You also want to look at your signage and decor, the look of your physical space, from exterior signs and window displays to interior decor and lighting. That all impacts how customers experience your brand in person. You also want to think about staff presentation. Does your staff wear branded uniforms, matching shirts, or name tags? Even the friendliness of your team adds to that overall brand feel and customer experience. And lastly, look at your digital presence, your website, your social media profiles, any photos online that show your brand to the world. Consistency here reinforces your story and attracts new customers that might find you online. All of these pieces work together to create a cohesive look and feel that customers recognize and trust. Now, we want to take all of those different pieces of your presentation and we want to align them with your brand story. Here are some practical tips to help you do that. We want to be consistent. We want to use the same colors, the same fonts, the same styles across all of your materials, from labels to menus to business cards and your website and social media, so customers instantly recognize your brand. We want to match the visuals to your story. So that's again with those colors and fonts. If your brand is rustic and natural, go for earthy tones and textured materials. If it's modern and bold, choose clean lines and bright colors. We want to make your packaging both functional and beautiful. It should protect your product, but also look inviting and tell your story. Include snippets about your unique position, your quality or values on labels or inserts whenever it's possible. Here's a mini bad versus good example to help kind of illustrate this. On the bad side, we have a food truck with faded signs and handwritten menus on scrap paper, maybe some outdated menu items where when people ask for the item, you go, oh, we don't make that anymore. That might make customers question the quality. On the other hand, if we have a food truck with vibrant, professionally designed signage and clear, well-organized menus, that builds trust and excitement before the customer even orders. Now it's your turn to think about your presentation. This is a few questions you can ask yourself. Grab your PDF guide and let's brainstorm. Write down the color or colors that feel like you. If you're not really sure where to start, try Googling the meaning behind certain colors or finding out which colors evoke different emotions. That can help you a lot here. For example, blue is a calming color, which is why you often see it in doctor's offices. Think about what your labels or printed materials have on them. What story or information do you want to share there? Jot down 1 or 2 sentences or phrases. Maybe you think your unique positioning statement is really important to share on your packaging. Maybe your journey feels like the more important thing to share. And finally, think of one small design change you could make that would better tell your story or improve your brand's look. Note it down. Taking these steps will help you focus on presentation in a way that connects deeply to your brand story. Hit pause here to think on these questions. To wrap up this section, presentation is your chance to visually tell your brand story and shape how customers perceive your product. When your look and feel align with your unique story, your quality, your values, you build trust and attract the right customers and create lasting impressions. All right, now it's time to dive into something a little bit less visible, but just as important, your perceived value. Perceived value is basically how your customers feel about what your product is worth. It's that gut feeling or impression that helps them decide, is this worth buying? Is this worth the price? And here's the thing, perceived value often matters much more than the actual cost or ingredients of your product. It shapes buying decisions and even long-term loyalty. So think about the last time you bought a gourmet chocolate bar versus a regular candy bar. Both might taste good, but you probably paid more for the gourmet one, right? That's because the gourmet chocolate has a story. Maybe it's made from rare ingredients, or packaged beautifully, or backed by a brand you trust. It makes you feel like you're treating yourself to something special. And that feeling, that belief that it's worth it, is perceived value. Without strong perceived value, even the best product can get overlooked or undervalued. There are several things that come together to build this feeling of perceived value, and we've gone over most of it already. The who you are and why you started, that authentic passion and journey you share to connect emotionally with your customers, your unique position statement, what makes you different and special, your quality, the proof points that back up your unique statement with substance, your customer experience, your friendly service, responsiveness, and community engagement. Any positive reviews, testimonials, and partnerships reinforce that trust and value. Then your presentation, your packaging, your labels, your menus, your online presence, we just went over all of that. That all sends signals about your quality. Your pricing needs to match your story and quality. Too low can make customers doubt your product is good enough. Too high without an explanation can push them away. So let's get practical here. There are some ways you can increase the perceived value of your food business. You can tell your story everywhere. Share your origin, the passion, the values consistently across your website, packaging, social media, and in person. Tell anyone and everyone your story. Show the quality behind your food. Explain your sourcing, your special techniques, and your care in every batch. Engage with your customers. Respond to comments. Share the behind-the-scenes stories and say thank you often. Create packaging and branding that feel professional and aligned with your story. Price your products thoughtfully. Set them to reflect your quality and your story, and don't undervalue your product to compete on price alone. And leverage any social proof. Ask happy customers for testimonials or reviews and showcase them as much as possible. So it's your turn now to reflect on your perceived value. Grab your guide and let's think about some of these questions. How do your customers currently feel about the value of your product? What parts of your story or product quality do you highlight to show that value? Does your packaging and presentation support the message you want to send? Is your pricing in line with the quality and experience you provide? And do you have any testimonials, reviews, or endorsements you could share to boost trust? Write down whatever comes to mind here. This reflection will guide you as you kind of strengthen your brand's perceived value. And if you're not sure how customers feel about your product already, it's a good time to start asking. You can send out a survey to past customers if you have any way to contact them. You could ask on your social media sites if you post to social media, or you could reach out to your network, the people who support you, and ask them how they feel about your product. Hit pause here to work on these questions for a moment. We've come to the final step. Now that you've explored all the key parts of your brand story, it's time to bring it all together. In this section, we'll put together a simple, clear brand story using those 6 essential elements that we've already covered. This framework will help you create a story that's easy to remember and to share and to use as the foundation of your marketing. As a recap, really quickly, the 6 parts of your story are your journey statement. This is the personal, heartfelt part of your story, the passion, the background, the motivation that sparked your business. It answers the questions, who are you? What's your connection to the product and community? Why did you decide to start this journey? Sharing this helps customers connect with you on the human level. Then we have your unique position statement. This clearly states what makes your food business different from all the others. It highlights your special ingredients, your methods, or your value proposition, basically the why choose you factor. This statement should be simple and focused on the benefits your customers get from your business. Then we have your quality statement. Here is where you explain the craftsmanship, the care, the standards that go into making your product stand out. Talk about your sourcing, production methods, or anything that ensures consistent, excellent quality. This is where we build trust and show customers that you back up your story with substance. Then we include the customer experience. This part describes the values, the mission, and community connection behind your brand, who you serve, and why you care. It also covers the feeling and interaction customers have with your brand, whether it's in person, online, or through your product. Then we look at your presentation, how you visually bring your brand story to life through those packaging, menus, signage, online presence, etc. Your perceived value. This element shapes customer perception and influences how much they value your product and what they're willing to pay. Putting it all together, I want to show you a brand story example. Let's see how Jacobsen Salt, a local brand from the Tillamook Coast, brings these elements together. You can see here their journey statement. Ben Jacobsen tested and harvested salt in 27 bays around the Pacific Northwest. He found where there was the brightest salinity thanks to natural oyster filters, and he focused on creating salt there to capture that unique flavor. What a cool story to try and be a part of. Then the unique position statement. Jacobsen Salt believes that taste, texture, and color make great salt. Their salt is bright and briny with a delicate crunch and no bitter aftertaste. They really help you visualize eating salt. I had never noticed a bitter aftertaste in salt before, but now I find myself needing to know what a non-bitter aftertaste is like. Things like that can really help spur curiosity in potential customers and get them to want to try your food. Then they share a quality statement. Though produced naturally and hand harvested, it takes a special process to extract and create salt the way that we do. From our proprietary drying process to hand grading every batch, we take great pride in bringing you salt that is truly exceptional. Wow, they really believe in the quality of their product. Then when it comes to customer experience, they have recipes available online, they partner with chefs like Bobby Flay to provide expert validation, and partnerships with other organizations and businesses showcase community involvement while also offering new product opportunities. For example, their partnership with the Portland Pickles baseball team and the Jacobsen Dill Pickle Salt. Moving on to presentation, you may have seen in the photo a few slides ago, their website labels, image, fonts, and shops all reflect a clean, purist appearance, which aligns with the quality of their products. And in their perceived value, are they more expensive than Morton salt? Yes. Will everyone buy Jacobsen salt? No. But professional and home chefs who want that high quality taste and a variety of salt flavor combinations, in other words, their target audience, the people they want to buy their product, will buy their product and use it for cooking and giving it as gifts. They speak directly to their ideal customers, and as a result, their salt is sold nationwide, both online and in specialty stores. So now that we have that great example, it is your turn to fill in your own brand story framework. Using your notes from earlier, try filling in each part of this for your own brand. Your journey statement, who you are and why you started. Your unique position statement, why you're different than everybody else. Your quality statement, what they can expect from the care behind your product. Your customer experience, how they experience your business. Your presentation, what your brand looks like, and the perceived value behind your product. A few final reminders here for when you want to share your brand story is to keep it simple, authentic to you. It doesn't need to be long or complicated. Use your natural voice as if you're telling a friend. Write it in your own words. Remember to let it evolve as your business grows and to revisit the story and refine it regularly as you get feedback or as things change. When you have a clear, complete brand story built from this framework with all of these reminders, you will stand out, connect better with your customers, and grow your food business. You've done some amazing work today, diving deep into your brand, uncovering what makes your business truly unique, and learning how to bring that story to life. Now it's time to turn that story into action. Start sharing your story today. There are some simple but powerful ways to get started right now. First is to start sharing your story with everyone. Starting with your team or your employees, making sure that everyone who represents your brand understands and can tell the story authentically. You want to talk about your brand story with your customers and community as well, whether it's in person or on your website, through social media. Start conversations about what makes your business special. Then we want to ask for feedback. Listen to how people respond to your story. What resonates? What could be clearer? What kind of questions are they asking? Use this to refine and evolve your story. Update your visual presence today. Consider refreshing your website, your packaging, or even just social media cover photos or profile pictures to better reflect your brand's look and feel. And repeat your story often. The more you tell it in marketing, conversations, every touch point you have, the easier it becomes to remember it, to own it, and to live by it. And the more your customers will come to know it, love it, and share it as well. Remember, your brand story is your most valuable asset. It's the heart behind your product, behind your business, the connection that turns first-time buyers into lifelong supporters, and the foundation for everything you do. When you keep showing up and sharing your story, your passion and authenticity will shine through, and your customers will notice. Thank you for your time investing in creating your brand story today. I hope you go forward with confidence knowing that you have a really special story to tell and your customers are ready to hear it. We can't wait to hear your brand story. We hope you share it with us. You've got this.